And there it is, guys, my very first attempt at building a massive tree. Now, one of the things that you might have noticed that I wasn't able to put in the time-lapse was all of this pale hanging moss. Now, for me, the pale hanging moss just adds a lovely dimension and a really lovely texture to this entire build. I mean, it was looking a little bit plain beforehand. I was still happy with how it looked, but I think the pale hanging moss really adds a lovely dimension to the whole thing. So for the most part, I've got it attached to the leaf blocks, but then I've also got them attached to some of the wood blocks as well. It really does give it this old and kind of willow looking vibe. And yeah, I'm just super happy with how it's turned out. Now you'll notice that as well as doing the big tree here, I've done a bunch of these little ones. And I'm not going to lie, whilst I'm not a master tree builder, it did take me quite a while to get the vibe that I wanted in here, especially given the fact that they are quite a lot smaller. But I wanted each tree to be individual and unique, so no two designs are the same. What's really cool is that we've also got these mini blocks in the game at the moment. It's a bit of a data pack that we've got on the server, and I really like the fact that they kind of just sit on there, and they kind of look like either roots or just bits of the wood that's fallen down and landed either on the floor or on the roots or something like that. It's just a really nice addition to the look of the trees. Now, one of the other things that I've done around here is I really wanted to keep the light level nice and low, so it gives it a really nice eerie and ambient look. As you can tell from the light levels as we're going around here, nothing really gets above like an 8 or something like that. I might alter some of this to try and get it a little bit lower, but for the most part, I'm using glow lichen, so that's a natural 7. But you got some of these areas that are just 1s, and that's the kind of stuff I really want to go for, is just keep the light level nice and eerie, and so when people are coming around here, it just gives them the heebie-jeebies as they're coming around. Because you never know, they might want to come around this path to pay homage to this massive tree. You know, this could be a nice little sanctuary for people to stop and sit and just appreciate life. So who knows, maybe this will become known as the Tree of Life. I must admit, I like this one in particular because it's kind of really leaning over the edge here, as if it's been kind of half knocked over and then it's just been growing all the way over here. And we've got the vines kind of really weighing it down on this side as well, so it's being pulled even more. I don't know, I just really quite like the idea of all this. Now, as you might remember, in the last episode, we did all of this. Now, this was a massive project, and we finally got most of it done, including all this bridge bit. And like I say, it's looking really nice and clean, and I didn't want it to look too broken up or anything like that, you know, too old. I want to have this duality between some of the stuff that is absolutely brand new and looks absolutely gleaming, and then, of course, you've got all the old natural stuff over there. This was a ton of work, and I really appreciate all the kind comments on the last video and anyone who reached out to kind of say that they actually wanted a schematic of this. So this is something that I might put up at some point. But yeah, this was a lot of work, and I really do appreciate all the feedback. So today in this video, the aim is to finally finish off this entire village area. That means we've got to fill in all of the rest of the stalls here, and then I've got to put a centerpiece in here, like a big feature in the center, and then I'm going to be putting in benches and just kind of terraforming the area, make it look really nice and busy and bustling. Some armor stands are going to be going in here. So like I say, there is a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it in. So we are going to put in all of the stalls here, but first I want to make a quick trip to the shopping district because I haven't actually been over there in a while, and I want to check if my shop has made any more diamonds, and if it has, we're going to have to fill it back up again. I remember towards the start of the season, this place was very popular, and I made quite a lot of diamonds. It has tailed off just a little bit. I think everyone's got the resources that they need pretty much now. But we'll see how we've done this time round. One diamond there. Oh, hoppers. Hoppers always seem to do well. Sticky pistons is another one. And lastly, the auto crafters. So 48 diamonds all in all in this haul. I'm actually really quite happy with that. I don't really think anywhere needs particularly stocking up except for the sticky pistons. We are definitely all out of sticky pistons, so I will get on that very shortly. In fact, so yeah, I could just take a couple of stacks of these pistons and just add some slime balls to them and make them into sticky pistons. Dead easy. I don't have to craft some specially. But the other thing is, we haven't really had a good check around the shopping district in a little while, and namely this Rubik's Cube that Vic has built. I believe this is actually the Dragon Bros glass shop. So yeah, this actually means that it's Vic and Mulshi. And yeah, selling all different types of glass. And it looks like they're doing quite well for themselves. It's nice to see a nice thriving economy on our server. That's one thing that we really lacked on some previous servers. Active members being one of the prominent problems. But then also just having a shopping district that was actually thriving. Jen's Dice Shop's still going strong. So we got frog lights, we've got slime balls, we've got beeswax and also candles and all sorts of stuff there, honeycomb, the rocket shop, and then this build, I can't remember if I actually showed this on camera, but this is a design that I helped Jen with. This is like her garden center, if you like. So it's got this kind of Japanesey kind of vibe going on, and we were super proud of how we came up with this in a test world. But yeah, this has got like moss blocks, flowers, and then on the top there, you've got the pale moss stuff. So I've actually bought quite a few bits of things from her myself. We have actually got a couple of new members on the server as well, and I think this is going to be the shop of Turf Master. I don't know what he's going to be doing, but we'll see how this goes. And the other thing that's just been started recently is the gaming district. This is going to be incredibly fun. Now, one of the things that we've got already, and I might not be able to show it just yet, because I need to get permission off the other guys as to whether or not it's ready. This is a Connect 4 machine. So the idea is that you place the concrete powder against the wall here. It'll drop down, because it's really been concrete powder, and then it'll go through this tripwire hook, which then sets off the slime blocks, which pushes it up there. That breaks this tripwire hook, and then these slime blocks push the concrete powder all the way over there, and it falls into that gap there absolutely perfectly. And then you got to try and get 4 in a row. I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with Connect 4. It's kind of a universal game. But the idea is that so much has been happening on the server recently, and I've been really struggling to keep up with it, just mainly because real life has been kicking my butt. But we're back now, and I really cannot wait to get stuck into finishing off this build. And like I say, first thing we need to do is get these stalls done. So let's go. You know, it's interesting. The more I do of this section, the more that gets complete, the more I feel like it's really starting to come to life. And I'm really happy about that because, you know, this entire area just started off as, well, nothing, just land. And now I've got this really nice area. Got a bit of a forest there, car park over there, storage system and such over there. And now we have the bulk of the village area complete. Obviously, there's a lot of pathways and bits of things that needs to go in. You know, like I said, in these areas here, there's going to be like benches and things for people to sit on. But yeah, every now and again, I get to just take a step back and take a look at all this stuff as what's going on. And I'm really liking this so far. Now, I know that there's been quite a bit of time between episodes, and unfortunately, that's just life sometimes. But as I say, as I'm making more and more progress on this area and just this entire mega build, the more it's kind of giving me the inspiration, the drive, the motivation to really get stuck in and really try and get this done before the end of the season. Now, don't worry, the season's nowhere near over just yet, but this is still a monumental task. I still have a lot of work to do. Now, just a quick one before we go over the builds that I've just done. There's something that out of here that I wanted to show you guys, and yeah, it's a bit of an interesting technique. I mean, I wanted to originally have this grass all the way around, and then it just doesn't look right with the green and this kind of area being a little bit more desaturated. It just doesn't sit well. So I had the idea of using coral, or dead coral to be more precise, and I've got quite a lot of stuff. I've found a warm ocean biome that was actually just kind of south of spawn. So I've gone and raided that, and I've got a lot of this stuff, and I've actually got a load more to do, but just kind of having a look around at first. What do you guys think? Does it kind of add to the ambience? I mean, the sun's going down as well, so that's going to add to the ambiance. But overall, I'm really liking how it's just adding a little bit more texture to the place, a little bit more of a vibe. You know, it's just making the place look a lot more eerie. And hopefully it's going to get even more eerie when I continue to add more in. As you can see, I've just recently updated some of my mods and just kind of added the better clouds in and things like that. And just, my God, what a view, especially with Jen's build over there. Wow, it's just gorgeous, isn't it? I really am loving some of these new mods. They're just brilliant. They just look absolutely incredible. But moving on to these newest stalls, the first one that we have here was the Dirt Hut, and we have the Stonemasons, which they sell various different types of things. I might get these up to master level, but I also might not. A lot of these guys are just going to be here for decoration, just to kind of give it a little bit of life. I did think about the idea of letting these guys kind of wander around, and hopefully they'll stay in their respective areas and just kind of keep coming back to their workstation. But I tried it with that build over there with that guy, and unfortunately I found him way over there within the space of a day. So no, unfortunately that doesn't work. So like I say, a nice little quaint dirt hut that's clearly just been thrown up. I mean, I'm not quite sure why I would have something like this in a music festival, but it's something a bit different. And yeah, I quite like it, quite enjoy building it. Got a mud floor, so you're kind of working in the dirt, guys. Next we have this building, which is a much cleaner vibe. I've actually gone with the pale oak. I'm really liking the trapdoor technique here because it's just giving it that kind of temporary looking vibe, but still a solid structure. Oh, Mr. Beast trying to get through there. Can you want to go through that one? You want to go through that one? Pick a door. So for this one, I think I'm probably going to try and go for something like a music shop or a music store that might sell some t-shirts, a little bit of music, some discs, that kind of stuff. So it's more than likely going to have music-related items in this shop. But there's plenty of space for people to walk around and have a look at the stuff, and then they can come over to this gentleman here, and that's where they're going to pay. Now this next one is actually a build that I've done before, however on a slightly smaller scale, and I'm kind of bringing it back from, I think it was Remedy Craft actually. I had a honey shop, and I really like this build. I know it's been done to death, loads of people have done this type of stuff before, but I wanted to bring it back on this server. And like I say, we've got all the bits of honey inside here, honey blocks. We've got some bees wandering around. In fact, the one that was over there, you can see him floating around over there. This is where he lives. This is actually his home. And I've just got a couple of farmers in here. I thought that was more suitable to this kind of aesthetic, having farmers in here. Kind of makes sense. Oh, hello, Mr. B. Next, we're going to move on to this building, which is a restaurant. And I wanted this one to be a little bit more higher market, a little bit more uptown, a little bit nicer looking. So we've got this really cool black terracotta flooring. We've got the barman behind here who's going to mix all your drinks. And then we just go up these set of stairs here, and we have the rooftop where everybody's going to be dining. Now you'll notice that just 2 seats to each table. What does that tell you? This is a really nice high-end restaurant for all you lovers out there. And of course we have the candles, because let's face it, it wouldn't be romantic without a candlelit dinner. And then lastly over here, we have the flower shop. And I wanted something super bright, super vibrant. And of course, we've got the flowers in here, but we've got these resin blocks, which is something I've never used before. Oh, accidentally knocked that out. It's not something I've ever used before, but they look so good together. And like I say, it's a super bright and vibrant kind of color, and it just fits so well with this entire color scheme. It really does stand out. And I think if this was a real stall at a real music festival, I think people would be flocking to this place. So that is now all of these stalls in place, and I am so happy with how they turned out. Just to think, it started off with this one, just kind of throwing something up and then putting a guy in there, and then it's evolved into all these different stalls. As before, this is the style of pathway that I'm going to be doing this entire way around, and then in between episodes I will be putting in the benches and making this place look a little bit more user-friendly. But that's just going to about do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a bit of a shorter one, but next time we are going to be making a start on the main stage. I am so excited to get started on this. I have some plans in the works, and I really cannot wait to share them with you. So hold tight, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye for now.